Manchester United transfer latest then. Now, since the season has ended, there's been a lot of bullshit rumours going around Twitter, YouTube, and all social media, plus in the newspapers and the press. Too many rubbish reports and stories, so I wanted it just to die down a little bit before we dive into the more concrete stuff, and was hoping some more real stuff was going to come out in the press and that, but it hasn't really as of yet. But the biggest news, obviously, so far is that the Antoine Griezmann deal has fallen flat on its face, which is a shame because he was a player that Manchester United and myself wanted to see come to the club. Now, obviously, in this video, I'm mainly going to talk about number 9s because Manchester United are crying out for number 9, and that is really the priority for Manchester United in this transfer window. I believe that we're probably going to sign around 3 or 4 players this summer, and that is going to be the focal point. Now, obviously, Griezmann would have been a fantastic option for Manchester United, scores a decent amount of goals. Now, I wouldn't include him as the number 9 for next season, not at all. But we need someone certainly to replace Zlatan Ibrahimovic because his goals were vital this season for Manchester United in league and cup games. Now, without him next season, which it doesn't look like he's going to be at Manchester United, we need to really stop the goal burden from Marcus Rashford, really helps get someone in to help him. The likes of Martial and Mata and Mkhitaryan, who've shipped him with some goals, but not enough. We haven't really got that other striker that's going to get 20, 25 goals in the team. Now, with Griezmann not coming to Manchester United, I think he's going to turn his attention to someone like James Rodriguez, someone of that ilk for that sort of around that position. But for now, the number 9 position seems to be the most talked about position in the Manchester United squad. We have been hearing a few rumours about centre halves, but it is the striking position which everyone wants to talk about, and it is obviously the main priority. Now, the main ones that Manchester United are obviously being linked with at the moment, Morata seems to be one of the highest sort of targets on the list from a lot of journalists, a lot of papers saying that he is one of the top. Now, to be honest, I'm not convinced signing Morata. He's going to be a Real Madrid reject, which, I mean, if you can't get into Real Madrid's team, that's no disgrace because they are the European champions and the Spanish champions. But to be honest, he hasn't got the greatest of goal scoring records, and I do think that Manchester United need to be looking more for someone that's going to hit the 25 league goal mark next season, or around the 20 goal at least, if we are to challenge for the Premier League title. Now, if Morata does come, I will not be completely disappointed because Jose Mourinho has worked with him before, but he does need to. He did actually have quite a good season in terms of goals for Real Madrid, but he's playing for Real Madrid, and then if he was playing in this Manchester United team this season, would he have been able to take that goal burden on himself and score a lot of goals? In previous season, he hasn't really got that many goals besides the odd season, so we will have to wait and see, but wouldn't be my preferred option for Manchester United. The second striking option that seems to be reported a lot is Romelu Lukaku. Now, he's come out and said today that he knows where he's going, and it's going to be a Champions League club, and he wants to be challenging for the Premier League title. Now, if it is a Premier League club that he is going to, and that's just not him just chatting shit, then there can only really be, for me, 2 Premier League clubs that I can see signing him. Now, obviously, I think it would be tailor-made for a club like Arsenal as well, or Chelsea, or Manchester United. Any 3 of them would be a good fit for him, but I can only really see him going to Chelsea or Manchester United. Now, typically, Jose Mourinho has had these type of players, big, strong, powerful centre-forward. He's had the likes of Didier Drogba in the past, so I could see him bringing him back to another club from where he's had him at Chelsea before. He did let him go, so some people are thinking maybe he wouldn't bring him back, but he did sell Juan Mata, and now he's worked fantastically well with Juan Mata this previous season. So I think they could bury the hatches. He is a Premier League proven goal scorer, that is the main thing, but the main problem is his big game performances. Now, he hasn't scored quite so many goals in big games as the likes of Harry Kane and players of that ilk. Now, obviously, playing for Everton, it's very, very difficult, obviously, to do that in big games. But I think it's around 3-4 goals in around about 30-odd games. So it's not great against Premier League top 5 or 6 sides. But I think he could probably improve that at Manchester United. Now, if we could get him for 50, 60 million, then yes, I definitely would take Romelu Lukaku because of the fact that he's got a lot of Premier League goals. And if he scored around 20, 25 Premier League goals for Manchester United this coming season, if he was at Manchester United, then we would certainly, I would say, be challenging for the Premier League title. Now, Can he do it in the Champions League is another thing as well, because he hasn't played in the Champions League. But we seem to forget how young Romelu Lukaku still is. He's only about 24. He's scored bags of goals at the likes of West Brom as well. So he can score goals wherever he is, and he'll be in the best team that he will have played in his whole career, because he didn't really get given a chance at Chelsea. But I've got a feeling he may be going to Chelsea if Costa does leave there. Now, the other real big name is Kylian Mbappe. Now, it seems to have died off a little bit for Manchester United. Some reports are coming out that Manchester United have made another bid for him, about 113 million euros, which is crazy. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but Real Madrid have apparently made an offer for him. So have Man City, and even Arsenal have apparently made over £100 million offer. Whether Manchester United could get him or not, I'm not too sure he's going to... I've got a feeling he might stay at Monaco one more season, but Manchester United really have got to be looking to get one of these striking options in, because there isn't too many great strikers out there, and he is a quality striker, there's no doubt about it. He could probably right now get, based on last season, okay, potentially he could be a one season wonder, but you could say that about any player that's only had one season. He scored, I think, 6 goals in the Champions League, which was absolutely fantastic, and I would say he could get into Real Madrid's team, and that has just won back-to-back Champions Leagues. I think he could actually get ahead of Karim Benzema at Real Madrid. So if we were to miss out on this transfer, it would be a massive blow. Potentially, I don't know what a lot of you people think. Let me know in the comment section below. Some people obviously think that maybe he still needs time to develop. But there's not too many other options out there for Manchester United. You're looking at the likes of Harry Kane, who I would love to see at Manchester United. I remember a year or so ago when I did a video on Harry Kane, when he was linked with Manchester United. He hasn't been linked with Manchester United this summer, which we will not get Harry Kane at this moment in time. But when we were saying 50, 60 odd million was too much for him, now you look on the back of the season, 29 goals in the Premier League, which was absolutely fantastic. Still only very, very young. Okay, he hasn't done it in the Champions League yet, but he has been quality for Tottenham Hotspur. So that's another one that I would potentially go after if he was available, which he isn't. But you're looking around after that, the likes of Lacazette are being mentioned. He does score goals, Lacazette, and okay, it is in France, but Zlatan scored goals in France, so you've got to give him credit. He's still banging in the goals. He scored, I think, about 37 goals in all competitions, so that's a decent return. But you're looking around the other sort of strikers. Cavani's out there, but would he leave PSG? So there's not too many options, but Manchester United and Jose Mourinho and Ed Woodward have got to get this right this season. Otherwise, we're going to fail to score a lot of goals again. I don't know, but they're my thoughts on the transfers anyway. My preference would be Kylian Mbappe. Second would obviously be, really more realistic, would be Romelu Lukaku. And then it's really scratching the barrel for me on which striker we go for. Maybe it is an unknown like Martial was a few years ago, but I don't think Jose Mourinho can afford really to take any risks this summer. That was a bit more of a risk getting Martial in, and it didn't really pay off that season. Okay, he had a fantastic season in his first season, Martial, but he was never going to hit the 20-25 league goal barrier, which cost Manchester United that season, and we don't want it to cost Manchester United this season. That would be the only problem with bringing someone like Kylian Mbappe in, would be if he didn't hit the ground running, because it's a very difficult league, the Premier League, and he's still only 18. I remember when Cristiano Ronaldo came in at 18, struggled at first to score goals. So it could take a player of that, even though he is more experienced than Cristiano Ronaldo, playing in a lot of big games at that age. It would be a tall ask. So probably Romelu Lukaku would be the safest bet for Manchester United in the number 9 position. Obviously, there are other areas of the team we probably need strengthening. Lindelof has been mentioned as a possible shout at the centre-back position, but I'm not still convinced that that transfer rumour seems to rumble on and on. It's been going on a long while, for months now. When they rumble on that long, I'm not too sure that it's going to happen, but I think the James Rodriguez deal could potentially happen. That's one that I think probably will happen. Then we've still got to look at a midfielder, maybe Fabinho in midfield from Monaco potentially. So 3 or 4 players we're going to have to sign this season. It's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the situation. We've got to get that striking position right, that number 9 position right. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.